So, good afternoon to each one of you. And the topic which is assigned to me for this session is citation and ethics in research. So I have divided this lecture in two parts. One, I'll be discussing a few things on the citation as to what is citation, what are different types of the citation, and what are the sources through which we can go for. And many things related to citation, including some of the examples of the citation. And then in the second part, I'll discuss with you what is research ethics and what are the points which a researcher should keep in mind while doing the research. So first thing related to what is citation. Simply, when we talk about the citation, then citation is the way you tell to the persons who read your paper or research work that the particular material in your work is taken from another's work or another's source. So citation gives the information from where you have taken that work of the other, and that is also necessary to find the location details of the source or the reference which you are citing in your work. So citation is also said to be a path address of a book. That is, you are doing that work in that particular area, whether you are writing a book, you are writing an article, or you are writing a dissertation or PhD, whatever you are writing, then citation is that path where from the others can come to know that the source which you have used is taken from whom. So this includes the details to identify the items referred in your work. And citation basically are provided in the scholarly work like bibliographies, references, and referring the past work in the subject area on which the researcher is working. Therefore, citation is the specific information, or you can say it's a documentation that should be provided by the writer to make it possible for the readers or to find the information which has been cited by the publisher. So to cite a source, that requires sufficient details that should be documented so that the reader will be able to find that the source and the specific quotations or idea, whatever you have taken in your work within that source in order to find more and more information. So citation is a reference to the source of information used in your research. Basically, there are two types of the citations. If we talk about the citations, then we find that there are two types of the citations. One is known as the in-text citation and the other is known as the end of paper citation. So in-text citation is a brief notation, and that is within the text of your paper or the presentation, which refers the reader to a fuller notation. And there are two ways to include the in-text citation. Basically, there are two types of the citation, in-text citation and end of the paper citation. In-text citation is further divided into using like a signal phrase or using the parenthesis. So there are two ways as one can or the researcher can give the citation in his work in the way of in-text citation by using signal phrase or by using parenthesis. So an in-text citation which refers to the reader a fuller notation, that you see that in this signal phrase or in this parenthesis, an effective way is just to include the in-text citation is by introducing the author's name in a signal phrase and adding the page number at the end of the quotation or the phrase. So you see a signal phrase basically is a phrase that signals to your reader that a citation is coming soon in your paper. Like APA signal phrase examples according to Professor Upendra Bakshi. Now I have to quote in my paper one of the opinion which has been given by Professor Upendra Bakshi, and his book that was published in 2001, for example. And the point which I am citing is given on page number 83. So just see that how I would be citing that. APA, there are different methods of citation also I'll be discussing just now. There is APA method in which how this signal phrase can be cited. So according to Professor Upendra Bakshi, then within bracket I have to write 2001. Suppose it's a book published in 2001. Then professor of law, that is his designation. And then I'll start citing within inverted commas the human rights and whatever is to be there, that within inverted commas I will write. And then in bracket I will write within the body of that content of that particular research work, page. P stands for page and page number 83, where from I am taking this. So in APA signal method, this is the type of the citation which I will be doing. But there is another type of the citation like MLA citation. There, the example is according to Professor Upendra Bakshi, same example you see. Then page 83. Here you see that the year is not required. In APA, year is required, while in MLA, year is not required. So here you find that 2001 is missing. However, the page number is given. So parenthetical citation is something like the parenthetical notes or citations that is to be used to show that where the information you are using has come, where from this information has come, or you are writing in your paper, you are citing Professor Upendra Bakshi. So where from that information has come. So this is the method as to how you will be writing in your paper. So parenthetical notes or parenthetical citations are the brief information. They are the informations about the source that is given in the body content of the research paperwork. Usually you see the author's name, year of publication, and page number is enclosed in the parenthesis. So this is the style of the parenthesis. That is APA model, THE, the. So this first T is to be in bracket. It is also known as the bracketed citation. So the human rights, and then Bakshi, the name is to be given 2001 and page 83. Similarly, in MLA method parenthetical example, again you have to write Bakshi but not the year and page number 83. So here you don't need to write P in the MLA method. So simply parenthetical method is a part of that in-text citation, which is divided in signal phrase and parenthetical citation or parenthetical mode. So they are inserted into the text of the paper at the end of the sentence or the paragraph. Suppose if the sentence is over, then within bracket, this information is to be given as a citation. So inside the parenthesis, the author's last name, and in some cases, the year and page number is to be included. So there are different styles of citation, and therefore different types of the work are being different types of the information is to be given as citation to the readers who are reading your paper, who are reading your book, who are reading your research work. Then second type of the citation is known as the end of paper citation. Now this end of paper citation provides all necessary details about that source of information, because you see that in parenthetical or signal source, some information is given only in the bracket. That is not the complete citation. That is not the complete information. So end paper citation includes the complete detail about the source of information. So end paper citation as well as the footnotes and end notes, they may be either in the footnotes or they may be in the end notes. Footnote means on the same page, at the foot of that page, you have to give the citation. End note citation, that means when your work is complete, then at the last page, the entire citation would be given, and that is known as the end note citation. So it may be a footnote citation, it may be the end note citation, and that includes full details about a source of information. So citation basically contain the different pieces of identifying information about the sources depending on what type of the source it is. And in academic research, your source would Mostly the articles from the scholarly journals, and the citation for an article normally includes the author's name, the title of the article, information related to the publication like journal title, date, volume, issue, page number. So these are to be given as the citation, footnote, endnote. And for online resources also, you have to write in the digital object identifier the URL, which is given on the top of the of your computer or laptop, where from you are surfing any of the material, any of the document. So that URL for the information source is to be given, URL of the journal that published the article. So when a researcher directly quotes or paraphrases or summarizes the essential element of other idea in the work, then in-text citation or in-paper citation should be followed. So this is the first thing, that the types of the citation, it is in-text citation and end of paper citation. In-text citation are the bracketed citation within the body of that particular work. It may be relating to the page number, the year, and the name of the author. While in the end paper citation, it is including in the footnotes or the end notes, and in which the detail of the entire citation is to be given. The detail of the detail information is to be given, which includes the title of the of the paper article which you are using, the author's name, the publication, the journal from where you have taken this, what is the volume of that journal, issue number, page number. So everything you have to write in that citation. So whatever a researcher is doing a work, he or she must use the end paper citation or in-text citation as per the requirement of that particular paper. So researcher, while using the direct quotations from the others' work, he has to give the information about where from it has been taken. The direct quotations are used when the idea of the other person or the other writer, researcher wants to capture in his work. So it's the best way to express the sources also. Paraphrasing also, that is you are summarizing the others' work. You have read the others' work, and then you are summarizing that and you are rewording it in your own language, and then you are writing. So it is also required that where from you have taken that particular material, you have to give the citation for that also, because researcher use either to condense the point of the other reader, or to make it better fit in his or her writing style. Because every paper which you read for your work, that is not directly related to the title or the topic on which you are working. So if you are getting something, if you are reading some other's paper, then you need to reword that, you need to reframe that, you need to paraphrase that, you need to summarize that. And all these things you are doing on the basis of the idea of the writer or whose work you are consulting. So you need to give the reference in the citation of that particular article of that reader also, which you are not directly quoting there. Quotations are to be cited, but besides quotations, you need to cite the paraphrase and summarizing of the work of the earlier reader also. So you see that the rules of citation also differ from article to publisher to publisher, because there are different types of the sources of the citation also. So when we see that citation are of what type, so we see that different types of the sources you will get while doing the work, and there are many types of the sources you might use, like you can take the reference from the book, you can take the reference from the chapters, book chapters, then lectures also, the websites, because now everything is available on the websites, online informations are being made available. So you can give the citation sources from the websites. As I told you, the URL has to be given. You can cite the source from the videos, interviews, emails, blog entries, because these days you must be aware or not that there are so many scholars also, or the persons, they are writing their own blogs. So if you are getting something which is important and related to your research work, then you can also cite that blog entries and in your work, and many more sources which relate to your work as the researcher in a particular field. Because if you are doing the work in the area of law, then the sources are related to that. If you are working in the area of the mass comm or some other film, music, then you are working in the area of the horticulture, sericulture, then vegetable, fruits, home science also. So different types of the different types of the sources are available in which you can cite those sources while you are working. So uh, uh, this is just to determine that whether the sources which you are citing are correct or not. So citation is important for that purpose also. Then another point is that what are the different styles of citation? Now, different types of sources, that is a different thing. Types of sources. Sources means where from you are taking the work of the other. That may be a book, that may be a book chapter, that may be a lecture, that may be the interview. So many things may be there. Okay, that is the types of sources. Now the question is, what are the different styles of citation? As I have just discussed with you, that there is APA style, there is MLA style, there may be many more styles I'll be discussing with you. So the question is, what are the different styles of citation? When we talk about the styles of citation, then this is to determine which details are required for a citation for a particular source type. Find that source type within the style guide for the citation style you are using. The citation styles are also known as the documentation style or bibliographic styles. They are associated with different disciplines or the areas of studies. Because now it's the time that we are having the interdisciplinary journals, or multidisciplinary journals. So it's not confined that a student who is from the legal background or who is doing the law, he will be publishing the articles or the papers only in the journals which are related to law. He may be publishing the papers in the other multidisciplinary journals also. So in that journal, the citation method or the citation style would be maybe different. So student or the scholar must know that what are the different disciplines or the areas of the studies in which different types of the citations are required. So when we talk about the different styles of the citation, then there are thousands of citation styles which are associated with the journals, publishing companies, and library database also. But you would only need to be concerned with these if you are planning to publish your research with one or those journals. Because if you are requiring if you are writing a research article and you need it to publish in a multidisciplinary journal which requires the citation method or citation style should be MLA style, then you have to follow the documentation style of that MLA method. And you have to learn that your paper would be accepted only when you are following the citation style of that particular journal, of that particular book, of that particular edited book. So there are thousands of the citation styles you find, and the main point is that you need to know that which citation style is required for the publication in a particular journal. Then as I told you, there are different types of the citation styles. So the most common citation styles which we find in the work, whether it's an interdisciplinary journal or it's a multidisciplinary journal or related to a particular area of discipline like social sciences, like humanities, sciences, engineering. So different citation styles are there. For example, APA. So APA is known as the American Psychological Association. This is a style for citation, which is used in many of the social sciences like psychology, behavioral science, education, sociology, anthropology, business, economics, criminal justice, also political science. So APA is the method of citation. It's a style of citation which is used basically in the social sciences. Then another type of the style is known as the Chicago Manual of Style. And this Chicago Manual of Style that has been developed by the University of Chicago, and it is associated basically with the history. So if a paper is being published in a journal which is exclusively publishing the articles or the research papers in history discipline, then Chicago Manual of Style is being followed. And sometimes the Chicago Manual Style is also used in other humanities and social sciences fields also. Then another method or style of the citation is MLA citation. MLA, that is Modern Language Association of America. And this Modern Language of Association of America, it is primarily used in humanities, languages, literature, philosophy, religion, and the subjects which are related to arts. So MLA style is to be followed in these types of the work. Then next is the CSE, and the CSE is known as the Council of Science Editors. So as the name shows, it is related to the natural science. This style is associated basically with the natural science subjects, physics, chemistry, whatever the subjects are there. If the paper is being published, then those journals follow the CSE style, Council of Science Styles. Then MHRA style, MHRA, that is Modern Humanities Research Association style. As the name shows, the journals which are publishing the papers in humanities, then this MHRA is also required for the citation style. Then IEEE. IEEE, then it is Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. So the papers which are being published for engineering discipline, then they have to follow the IEEE. This is one of the style of the paper citation. Then ACS style is there. In this ACS style, you find that ACS, that is American Chemical Society. So it is basically related to the chemical literature. So this format is basically used in the chemical literature. Papers which are being published in the chemistry and the related disciplines, then this ACS style is being followed. Then APSA style is also there, which is related to the American Political Science Association, and in which you see that the style manual has given the style for citation, which is related to the political science, which is a system which is often used in the political science scholars and historians also to some extent, but basically it is related to the political science citation. Then you see that this APSA style that largely follows the method which is followed in the Chicago Manual of Style. As I just told you that the Chicago Manual of Style, which was developed by the University of Chicago, mainly for history and for other subjects of humanities. Then this political science is a subject relating to that social sciences, and in that also the APSA follows mainly the Chicago Manual of Style. Then the Blue Book, that is one of the style method, and this is a uniform system of the citation. And this prescribes the most commonly used legal citation system for law professionals in US. So Blue Book is considered, there are many editions of the Blue Book. So in each edition, you find that there are some differences from the previous edition to the latest edition, but basically it is used for the legal citation system. And this Blue Book is compiled by the Harvard Law Review Association and the University of Pennsylvania Law Review and Yale Law Journal. So all these three, you see that they follow the Blue Book system of style of citation. Then this Blue Book style is traditionally, which is used for the American legal writing. This is also used by many courts of judicature around the world also. And they also follow this Blue Book system. Then another type of the system which is used is the Columbia online system. And this Columbia online system is related to the material which is borrowed from the online database, which is borrowed from the serving of the websites, different websites, or citing the internet sources, etc. So in that you find that the system also works. Then Harvard system. In this Harvard system, if we find the Harvard system, then the basic use is that related to the legal citations are there in the in this Harvard system. Then Oscola style is important. This is also related to the legal authorities in the Oscola. Oscola is the Oxford Standard for Citation of Legal Authorities. And in this Oscola, it is basically referring the footnote style. It's not like the signal phrase or the parenthetical phrase, but it uses the footnote style. So nothing is to be there in the body within bracket, but whatever is to be there, then with the superscript on the particular word, then the reference would be given on the footnote. So it follows the footnote style, and all the citations appears on the footnote of that particular paper. So Oscola does not use the end notes also. It doesn't use the end notes because there are different types of the styles, as I just told you. So in-text citation, it is not using. End notes, it is not using. It is using only footnote style. So if there is a longer work such as a book or the thesis, then it also includes the citation in table of cases and legislation and bibliographies, references. So different types of the citation styles are being used in the Oscola. Now, many of the papers which are being asked for the publication in international journals from the law students, they ask for the Oscola style of referencing in their paper. Then for legal citation, if we talk about, then in the legal citation, it's not like the reference of the book and everything, but something more is also required. For example, a legal citation that refers to specific legal sources, such as the constitution, an act or a statute, reported cases, or regulations, treaties at international level, or law review articles. So whatever is to be there, that they find in this legal citation system. For example, if I'm saying that AIR, All India Reporter, then in that AIR, the cases of decided by the Supreme Court is published at page number 263, or for that matter, page number 1461. So the citation, if you read the books, then you'll find that it is written AIR 1973 SC, page number 1461. It is not written page number, but they will write directly after SC 1461. So this AIR stands for what? AIR stands for All India Reporter. Then 1973 is the year when it has been decided, the case has been decided. SC, that stands for the Supreme Court. Similarly, in place of SC, you will find MAD, you may find BOM, you may find Allahabad, ALL. So these are the abbreviations where you find that the particular case is decided by a particular High Court, Madras High Court, Allahabad High Court, Bombay High Court. So similarly, this citation in legal work is of a different nature, which every law student must know as to how to cite the case laws. It's not only confined to the AIR, All India Reporter. There are Supreme Court cases, SCC, they need a bracket also for the year. Then there are different volumes also. Then they will write the volume number 1, 2, 3 without quoting VOL. They will write just after 2001 within bracket, and then 1, and then SCC, and then page number would be there. So different types of these styles. Judgment today, JT, that is known as the JT. Then scale is there. Many you will find the reports where the judgments are being published. So these are all the part of the legal citation, where the researcher has to cite all these things. And then another type of the citation which is available, different style of citation, is the AGLC, sorry. So this AGLC is Australian Guide to Legal Citation. This is also another type of the legal citation which is followed in the Australian legal citation. And here you find that in Australia, they follow in the courts and in other works also for their legal work, this Australian Guide to Legal Citation. Then this McGill Guide is for the citation guide to uniform legal citation in Canadian legal citation. In Canada, they follow this McGill Guide. Then in German legal citation, they also follow this in Germany. And after that, if you see, then one more is there, that is citation for the Netherlands, Dutch legal citation, that is for the Netherlands also. Then in US, as I told you, Blue Book is a standard, and it includes everything that is ALWD citation manual. Includes the 10 book also. 10 book is the New York citation official report. Then Maroon book that is coming from the University of Chicago Law School. So you see that in legal field, there are different citation styles which are being used in different countries, whether it's Netherlands, Germany, Australia, or US, UK. So wherever you find that, there are different types of the legal citation styles also besides humanities, social sciences. Now coming to India, we also have different types of the citation for legal purposes or for legal papers and articles, and that is the ILI citation style. Indian Law Institute has developed this citation style for India, and basically the pattern of citation or the footnoting that is developed by ILI, that is to be followed in the Journal of Indian Law Institute, Annual Survey of Indian Law Institute, and other publications of the institute. And many of the universities law departments, they are also following the ILI style of citation for the work of the PhD and dissertation. So all styles of citations are available on the online website of many of the universities. Also on the ILI website also, you will find that what is the style of referencing or citation which has been developed by the Indian Law Institute. So normally you see that the citation styles are used for different types of the materials which is contained in books, chapters, edited, as I just told you. Newspapers may be there, magazines may also be there, reports of the commissions, law commissions reports, or some other commissions reports are also the part of this. So all styles of citations require similar information in different styles. Information would be the same almost, but how it has to be written by the researcher, that is there some differences also. For example, in some they want that the surname should come first and then the name of the author. In some the name of the author and then the surname would come. In some the in bracket there would be the year of publication, while in others the year of publication would be in a running content. So different styles are followed, but informations are almost similar in all these things. For example, that MLA system, which is a bracketed system, you see that if one is reading the DD Basu on Constitution, then DD Basu will be written like Basu and then page number, that is 17. And if you are consulting more other books of the same author, for example, DD Basu has written the book on the Constitution, and DD Basu has also written the book on the administrative law, for example, and you are citing both the books in your paper. So you will write that Basu Constitution page number 26. If you are writing that from the citing from the Constitution. If it would be like administrative law, then you write Basu administrative law and then page number 17, 18, whatever is to be there of that particular book. So this is the style of the bracketed references which are being used in MLA system or in APA system also. But in legal system, you have to write the full references in the footnote of that particular article where you are writing or where you are citing the particular paper. Then coming to a little bit more about the citation styles, then we find that after in-text citation and end of the paper citation, there are certain bibliographical methods also which are being used by different styles. For example, in MLA style, and the last page, it is known as the word cited page, where the entire references and bibliographies have to be given by the author of that particular paper. Then in APA style, it is called the reference pages. In CSE style, it is called the reference pages. So different types of the words have been used for citing the pages and the bibliography. In Chicago, you see the bibliography page, it is known as the note page or the bibliography page. ILI, as I told you, is following only the footnote method. So these citations, which we find that they are used in different types of the works by the author, and these different styles which the author follow, whether it's a footnote or it's an end note or it's a bracketed references, it may be parenthetic citations. So whatever types of the citations are there, these are all to be followed by the researcher or by the author of the work in a similar manner. It is required that if you are writing one paper, then the style of the citation would be the same for the entire paper, for the entire work. You cannot change the style of citation that on one page you think that I'll be citing in MLA method, in other page I'll be citing in the APA method, or for that matter, Ili method or CSE method. No, the entire work has to be on the single system or single style of the citation. You have to follow that. So this may be of different types. Then in MLA, as I told you, for example, if you are citing the work of all the authors, then there is a bracketed system and there is no footnote or endnote. Then in the final, you will be writing the work cited page. And in APA, you will be writing the reference page. This is also known as the referencing also. So all these systems are different, and you have to follow that system. Now, there are a few questions regarding why to cite the sources, when to cite the sources, or what is to be cited and how much is to be cited. So there are different questions, because citation is what you know. What are the different sources of citation? You know. What are the different styles of citation? I have just discussed with you. Now the question is that why you need to cite the source, or when you need to cite the source, or what is to be cited in the particular source, or how much you will be citing in that particular paper of yours. So coming to the first question, that is why you need to cite the source. So it serves basically a fact checking tool. Why we need to cite a source? Because if we are citing a source in our paper, then it serves as a fact checking tool. Now, what is that fact checking tool? It gives credit to the authors whose work you are using. And it helps your readers to find out more about your research topic. It also strengthens your work by providing the outside support to your ideas which you are citing. It also shows how your research builds on the research of the others. Because when you are citing or you are giving the reference of the other writer, then the reader may also go to see of that reader's work, and then can make a distinction or differentiation that how much you have taken from that, or what was the work which was done by the earlier author and what the work is in the of the present author. So it also shows that, and through this the because as I told you, the reader locate the sources because you are giving the source from where you have taken. So reader also locate the sources you are using in your work, and it can verify the information also whether it's correct or not. Or they can do their own research on that subject also after taking consideration or information from the work which you are giving in your citation. So a citation after a phrase that tells your reader which ideas came from someone else. So that it is assumed that everything else in your work is your own original thinking. Then second question, when to cite. So when to cite means when you use the words, you use the thoughts, you use the ideas of others or someone else, then you need to cite. And when you use the direct quotation of the others, then you need to cite. When you are paraphrasing some other's work, then you need to cite. Or when you are using the reference and idea or thought that has already been expressed by some other work, or you are summarizing the work of other, you need to cite at that time. So when you make any reference to another source, when another's ideas or words or thoughts, those are influencing your own work or your writing and the research work, then you should cite there. And when you are in doubt also that whatever you are writing, that is correct or not. So where from you have taken that particular idea, or where from you have taken that particular material, then you need to cite. Because in that case, if there is any doubt, then your reference would save you. That you have taken this from that particular reference or particular work, which you are citing in your work. So when to cite means that when there is a doubt, then again you need to cite. So it's better to cite too much then or we can say that you need to cite all the work which you have considered or consulted in your work. The only thing you do not need to cite is your own opinion. If you have developed your own opinion, then it is not required to be cited because there is no reference for that. However, be sure that it is indeed truly your opinion. If it is your opinion only, then you need not to cite that particular thing or anything which is established. Then again, it is not required to be cited. Then third question, which is related to the citation, is that what is to be cited? Now, the question that what is to be cited means author should cite every fact. That is not common knowledge. If it is a common knowledge, then you cannot cite that. But if it is not a common knowledge, then you need to cite. All paraphrases the researcher do in their own writing are to be cited. And ideas or theories from other publications should also be cited in reference books as well as a direct quote and from someone else. So all these things you need to cite. Then fourth question, how it is to be cited, how you will be citing. So as I just told you, generally the citation depends on the publisher's style guidelines or the institute in which the work is to be submitted by you. But mainly author's name, title of book, articles, journals, or date of publication, page numbers and volumes, all these things are required as a part of the citation. So a researcher and authors must pay proper attention to detail, properly cite another person's work and acknowledge their findings. Because until and unless the acknowledgement is given for the work which is cited in the work of the researcher, then it would lead to the plagiarism rules. Now, plagiarism is something like stealing the work of other without acknowledging the work of the other. So, failure to cite others' work will also ruin the reputation of the researcher, and it would lead to penalty, punishment for violation of the rules of plagiarism also. So, it is required that the citation must be given by the author for the work which he or she is using in his work. Then, as I told you that if you are not citing the work of other, if you are not acknowledging the work of other, and it will lead to the plagiarism. So here comes the question of the ethics in research. So what is the impact of citation in research ethics? Or citation is, as I told you, is an important part of the academic integrity. It prevents the plagiarism also. Properly using citation that can also avoid the error and make your work valuable, because citation adds the significant value to a work or to the work of the researcher. It strengthens the researcher and it avoids the plagiarism. So citation also makes you a very good researcher. Becoming detail oriented in one aspect, that instills the good habits across the board in your research, and you respect others' work by acknowledging them. So it will make you a very good researcher. Then good citation practices, that also makes you a good writer, a very good writer, because when you cite sources properly, then you have no questions in your reader's mind regarding your point, that what do you want to say in your paper, because you have cited that. So if there is any idea or if there is any history or origin of that particular concept, then the reader can also see that earlier work which you have cited in your paper. Then good bibliography also shows your knowledge that how you are working in your research work. Then citation also enables better verification of your work. That you do by following the research ethics. That means that if you are following the proper method of citation, that means that you are also following the ethics of the research. That means that you are not following or you are not involved in any type of the plagiarism also. And that's why citation has an impact on the research ethics also. So as I have discussed with you the different modes, methods, styles, sources of citation, So I suppose that I'm clear that what is citation, how you cite a paper, or how you cite the sources, or when you need to cite the source, or what you need to cite the source, what is in-text citation, what is footnote, what is endnote, what are the bibliography. So everything that is related to the citation. Now coming to the ethics or research ethics. So it is a research ethics or the ethics for the researcher. Basically, I think it's an ethics for the researcher which a researcher need to follow. So first of all, a researcher should be very, very honest. Honest for what? Honesty has to be shown in all the communications by the researcher. As a researcher, you should be honest to report the data, report the results, methods, and procedures, and the publication status, everything without any fabrication of your data, or without any falsification of your data, without any misrepresentation of your data. So honesty is very important. Until and unless you are honest, then your research results would not be proper, and you should not fabricate or falsify the data. So researchers have a responsibility for preventing research results from being presented in a misleading manner. It should not be a misleading information to the public, to the authors, to the readers who are using your work. So it should be proper, and you should strive for the honesty in all your communications. Then another ethics which a researcher should have is the objectivity. Now, regarding objectivity, when we talk about the objectivity, then the researcher should try to avoid bias in experimental design, in data analysis, in data interpretation. That it depends that your hypothesis for a work, that if you are thinking that this is the statement on the basis of which you have to develop your work, and the things are in your mind already, so you should not be prejudiced with that particular information which you are having in your mind. Whatever data comes, that may give you the result which is not relating to your hypothesis. Your hypothesis may be declared wrong also on the basis of the data collection, data interpretation, and data analysis. So a researcher should try to avoid the bias in experimental design. There should not be any partiality in peer review, personal decisions, and other aspects of research also. And they should also avoid to minimize the bias or self-deception, because if you are giving the wrong data, if you are very giving the information which is not correct as per your information, then you are not deceiving the others, but you are deceiving to yourself also. So you should avoid the self-deception, and that is important ethics for the researcher. Then integrity is another ethics which a researcher is required to follow. And this integrity means that you keep the promises and agreements, and the act with sincerity, and try with the to work with the consistency of thoughts and actions. So this is all important for the researcher to complete his work. Then as a researcher, you need to be very, very careful also, because if you are careful, then you can avoid all the errors and negligence which are to be part of your research work, because you should keep all the records of your research work in a proper manner. Then you will be very, very careful. That is also one of the ethics. Then you should be open. Openness is another ethics which a researcher should have. That means the researcher should share all the data, results, ideas, tools, and resources used in the research work. So if the data which has been shared, or the results which have been shared by the researcher, and if there are certain comments or criticisms which are coming from the others, if there are certain comments or objections are coming from the others after going through your results and data, or some new ideas are also coming, then the researcher should open his mind, and the researcher should be very open for all the criticisms and the new ideas, so that he may incorporate those ideas, those criticisms, those comments in his work. So openness is also one of the ethics. Then as a researcher, what is another thing which is required is the confidentiality and anonymity. Now, when we talk about the confidentiality and anonymity, that simply means that the researcher must be very, very, confidential in taking the data from the other person. That simply means that if you are taking some data from the others, then for your research work, then you have to maintain the confidentiality. For example, there are some of the data relating to right to privacy, right, the LGBT's work, or the cases relating to the rape or something like that, where confidentiality is required. Then it is required that the researcher should maintain that confidentiality. And anonymity also, that the names of the respondents, that if it's an empirical study, you are going to collect the data and your respondents are those persons. If their names should be public, then of course there would be, I mean, their reputation will be lower down in the society. So the names, etc., of those respondents, those should not be declared. So anonymity is to be maintained. This is also one of the very important factor or ethics which researchers should keep in mind. Then respect for posthumous reputations also. For example, if a research is being done on some person and the person is not alive, then the researcher should be very, very careful, and he should pay all the respects for the reputation of that person who is not alive, because he's not coming back to see that what the researcher has written about him, and the person who is not alive, that the person cannot give any objection. So the researcher must pay full respect to any person or the reputation of the posthumous person who is not alive, if the work is on his life or on his work which the person has done. Then non-discrimination is also one of the important ethics, that researcher should not discriminate between the persons. For example, male, female, on the caste basis, or some other basis, on the basis of the marginalization, on the basis of the vulnerability. So there shall not be any discrimination. The researcher should take the information from all in an equal manner. There should not be any discrimination. So equality has to be maintained by the researcher also. Then, of course, competence is also important, because taking steps to promote competence is a must for the researcher. And lifelong education and learning, that maintains and improves the professional competence. So the researcher has to read more and more, because quality is something which is not a result of one day reading. It's a result of your hard work. It's not come to you by chance. It's not come to you by some miracle. For that, researcher has to work very hard. If some good work has to be produced, then the researcher need to work very hard. And for that, quality and competence, these are very important aspects for the researcher. Then legality. Legality is also very important. Researcher must know that while working, he must obey the relevant laws. For example, if some data has to be collected from the scheduled tribes area, then we all know that there are certain reasonable restrictions also, that who can go and who can take the information. So a researcher must know as to what are the restrictions, what are the relevant laws which are related to that particular area. At the same time, not only the area, but the government policies, what are the policies of the government, what are the laws which are in existence, whether there is any amendment in the law or not, because many times the acts have been amended and the researcher, he doesn't know as to what has come new, and he continued to work with the prior unamended law. So that is not going to give a good research result. So the legality as well as the latest information and knowledge, that is also important for the researcher, and in that way he can convey the research results in a very important manner to the society. And this is also one of the ethics, that research is not for keeping inside, for keeping in the box, for keeping in the almirah or bookshelf, but the results must also be published. The information must also be given to the community, to the society, because researcher, that also bears an obligation to convey the research results to the participants of or the research or the respondents from whom the data has been collected. So everything that is that comes under the research ethics, and the researcher should follow all these things for the purpose of informing the respondents, for the purpose of informing the participants, that is the persons from whom the data has been collected. So this is also one of the important ethics. Then publication should be a responsible publication. So whatever is going to be published by the researcher, that should be a very, very responsible to share, because it is to share the benefits of the research. The research results should be published to give wider publicity, to advance the research and the scholarship. However, researchers should avoid duplicative and useless publication. Now, what we see that in this era of the API, that we have to make more and more API for the purpose of promotion or for the purpose of the getting appointment or all these things. So what we are witnessing is that there is only one paper, and after paraphrasing or changing the title of that paper, the researchers, they are publishing one paper in more than 2-3 times. So this duplicative publication or useless publication should be avoided. And this is also sometimes that slicing of the research that is also being seen. This is also known as the salami slicing, that you have written one paper, and from that paper you are taking out 2 or 3 more papers, and you are getting it published in different journals or different books or different book chapters. So this slicing is also not to be done by the researcher, and you should avoid for that. Then respect for the individual's intellectual property, that is also very important. And how as this citation is related to the ethics, that is also one of the important factors. That if you are citing the sources from where you have taken the information, then this is basically respecting the intellectual property of the others, because someone has written, that is having his own copyright, having his own patent or other intellectual rights, property rights. Then by using the citation, you are showing that you are following the research ethics by giving the references of the intellectual property of the other. So researchers should honor the patents, copyrights, and other forms of intellectual property, and researchers should not use the unpublished data, methods, or research without permission of the original author. And he should give proper acknowledgement or credit to the contributors who have done the earlier research. So if the research ethics are missing in research, then the work that will result in the academic dishonesty and academic plagiarism. So plagiarism should be avoided, because academic dishonesty is also said to be the plagiarism. And that plagiarism is nothing but stealing the work of the other without acknowledging the original authors as researcher's own work, because he writes or he publishes that work as his own, and he is not acknowledging the other's work. So this is something like stealing the other's work, and this will come under the plagiarism rules. Then you see that University Grants Commission, that in 2018 has come out with some of the regulations which are related to the promotion of academic integrity and prevention of plagiarism in higher educational institutions. So every higher educational institution that has to follow this regulation, which speaks about what is plagiarism, what shall be the duties of the higher educational institutions, and how the scholars and the researchers and the students, the faculty, how they will be made aware. So for that, the programs and trainings, everything has to be conducted to curb the plagiarism so that there may not be plagiarism. And at the same time, the penalty provisions have also been imposed under this 2018 regulation of the UGC. And there are 4 levels of penalty, that if you are taking the work of the other, so up to 10%, there is no penalty, and it is considered to be the minor similarity. But above 10% to 60% and above, then there are different stages, different levels of the penalties for the researcher, for the faculty member, for all the persons who are publishing the research articles, research papers in any of the journals. So for that, the institutions, academic institutions, they have also to establish some of the committees at the department level, at the institute level, so that they can inquire into if there is any case of the plagiarism or not. So every procedure is given in this 2018 regulation. Then finally, to avoid the penalty, the researcher should follow the good reference practice and ensure good research ethics also, because researcher should avoid control C and control V. method, because what is that? You are copying from one place and you are pasting in your own work. So this is not the research ethics, and this should be avoided. So any fraud in the name of the research, that should be avoided by the researcher. You should not fabricate or falsify the data. You should not misrepresent the data. So a researcher should use citation tools like citation style guides, and the researcher can visit the websites for the styles which are to be used in the particular work, and can view the style guides and sample papers for that style as to how to go about by that particular type of the citation. Then a researcher can also work on the overleaf.com on the in the latex page, where you need to put only a command which you can learn from the YouTube videos, and everything is available on the internet, and you can go for any website to learn as to what is the documentation style, what is the research style, what type of the methods you are using. So everything you will find in that particular documentation or style guide for the citation, which is to be used by all the researcher. Because if the citation style is understood by the researcher, then of course the researcher will also follow the ethics of the research also, and that would also give the credit to the original writers or authors of the work. So that acknowledgement to the author, that would also prevent the plagiarism, that would also prevent the academic dishonesty, and the researcher would be, doing his work with full honesty. So there are many things which a researcher need to follow. There are many principles which the researcher need to ensure as the ethical principles. But the time is not allowing me to go for more on this ethics.